All right, folks. You guys like Fords? This is a friend of mine. He just needs a little bit of, he needs a once over on the truck. I guess he bought it and it just needs a few things tweaked on it before we go any further, or before he actually goes for a rip. But hey, look at that. A Ford in a Ford. Some of you folks will be super happy about that. So we got that, but we can just tell a lot of things just need some work, like this rad. Right now the transmission is bad, so Ryder's started pulling the transmission, but he's going to finish it up on the hoist here. Kind of got some stuff all shuffled around. I'm not sure. We don't have quite a big list of what's got to go. All we know is we got to change it out, put a different fuel tank in. It doesn't run right now because there is the fuel pump died, but it's like, that's what we got for a fuel tank in here right now. So we're going to switch it out to like some kind of a tank under the bed floor. I guess we'll be tweaking some gauges, doing some stuff inside. I mean, the interior is not terrible. I mean, it needs a little bit of work, but overall, it's pretty nice. I think so. We got most of the gauge. I think it just needs a speedo. Maybe we're going to tidy up some wiring. I don't know. We're going to lift it up and we'll have a better look at what's going on underneath. Anyways, all I know is the transmission, I think it was missing high gear or something, but it couldn't start it to drive it. So I just feel there's a few things here, a few little zaps and a weld here and there that it's going to need. Like I seen here, fender's kind of torn. It's just making more driver friendly. From what I can tell, it has a Vari front clip. So in here, which you can't really see, so we'll have to have a better look when we're underneath. All right, well, that's why you're seeing this thing in the shop. Might have seen in the background outside, don't know. Anyways, we're gonna lift it up, let Ryder finish pulling the transmission out. It's probably about as far as we're getting with it for now. It's just one of these little side projects we got going on. Well, a bunch of time has actually passed. You've probably even seen in videos and whatnot, this truck's been outside or maybe inside. I don't know. Ryder got the transmission out and then transmission going off, got rebuilt, and we got it back a little while ago, but I was waiting for some other parts to come just so I could kind of blitz through and get everything done on that thing. Over here on this front, we have the transmissions back from the shop. It's fully rebuilt, good to go. I think it was missing third gear. That was a problem with it. So we got some oil. I have a fuel tank that we're going to be swapping over. We're going to go with an in-tank pump and all that jazz. Figure out where we're going to put all of our stuff. But yeah, I think this is from like a van, a Ford van. Should fit. I don't know. I kind of blindly just bought. This is the same one that I actually used in the Merc. So far as I know. Oh, yeah. That'll be no problem. And that thing had such a big pan in the back to hide this whole thing, but at least it'll have a good tank. I think we'll just have it inside the box, coming out the corner or something. Not sure yet. We'll figure it out. So we'll have our fill, our vent, our sending unit, and sump is going to be like everything's there. This was some kind of a vent. We're just going to weld that thing shut. For the inside, I've had these for a little while because you had no speedometer in there. So that one, we have a fuel gauge that should be compatible with that. And we're going with the old a GPS speedometer in here. And I kind of went with the one that actually had all the stuff. I guess one has signals and high beam and all that stuff in there. So just like an Amazon dealio, I think they're like 80 or 90 bucks. So this one's nice because it has high beam and your signals in it as well. So that's a little added bonus. Anyways, Ryder's supposed to be out tonight. He's going to come. I'll lift this thing up, show you folks a little bit underneath here. And some of the things that we're going to try to fix on it. So yeah. When we actually pulled the motor out, we had problems because there was a plate on the firewall. I guess whoever originally built the truck. Whoever originally built the truck, the firewall is actually, I think it's a road sign or something, or a big chunk of aluminum that they screwed on. Well, it went down too far, so we had to struggle because it actually lipped over the transmission, so we couldn't get at some of the bolts because that motor's so far back. And we couldn't get the transmission out because when it kind of laid down, it was like hanging up on that plate. So we're going to have to trim that back. Anyways, we'll get this up on the hoist when Ryder comes and we'll try to figure a way I'll show you, but we're going to cut all that stuff out of there. All right, we got the truck up, and I've had Ryder doing, I thought this is road sign, but it's actually not. It's actually pretty soft. I had him cut these because I knew it was going to be hard to bend, but it actually bent really easy out of the way. Anyways, we cut these back. We've got this flanged up. If you can see here, these were facing at this angle over here, and the transmission mounts were just viciously banging away at that thing. So anyways, we got that out of the way. I believe there's enough room. So the next step is we're probably we'll take this nut off, Ryder. And then we'll take the torque converter out and we're gonna fill it with oil. And then we'll put it back in and then we kind of slip it back into the truck. So I don't think it was done. So I wanna make sure we fill it with oil. That's kind of the common practice. I think this is just for the seal for the dipstick tube. But anyways, we'll take this off. We're going to put a liter of oil in there, and then let's go smash this thing back into the truck. Party time. Do you have any idea why we filled that with oil? It's just so it's not dry. We don't want it have no oil in it because it's just not good. This technically, and then when you put these in, you see how it's sitting right now? You got to turn it And you hear it go clunk. There's a second clunk. Should be like a third one. Should be one more. There we go. Usually there's like 3 clunks. Because this thing sits into your pump. So that would technically pump oil now. Anyway, that is good. We're going to drop something in here so this doesn't fill with junk, because this is where your dipstick's supposed to go. And it's hanging in the truck there because it was attached to the firewall, so we're going to have to strategically kind of stab that back in there. Yeah. For now, we're going to put something in there and then we'll try to get it in place. Yeah. Can't see very well, but transmission is all bolted in. That's in, drive shaft's in. You can see up over here, this thing has like a Vari clip in it, which for the most part is pretty good. There'd be a few things I'd change. I'm not quite happy with a lot of it, but hey, I guess it's in there and it'll work. The other thing we got to deal with is in the back here. Right here, this spring situation, the half of a shackle missing. That's not very good. There's not even a lot of meat on there, so I'm gonna see if I have anything in the shed. For some reason, I think I have some of these brackets. I like to switch them out. This fuel tank is a no bueno. It's actually too wide. I thought it'd be okay, but it's just like 2 inches too wide, and I don't feel like cutting this down. I do have this Suburban tank I could maybe use, but I don't know about that either yet. I think what we're gonna do is drop it. We'll pull the fuel tank out. First we'll go to one of my sheds there and see if I have some of these, whatever you wanna call it, hangers, shackles. If I have any shackles, and then we'll see if we can swap those out. And after that, then we'll look at this whole fuel tank scenario. After that, this truck has buckets in it, but we want to put a bench seat in it. So we have this seat, or he brought this seat, so we'll have to make some brackets or something so that sits in there. Anyways, first things first, we're going to go and look for some shackles, see if we can get that fixed up. Well, last night Ryder and I basically got the transmission in. Got the old fuel tank out, pulled the floor out. I was test fitting this tank. It doesn't fit at all. I had like an old Suburban tank. It sort of fits, but it's going to hang way too low. I'm thinking in the end, this is still the best choice, but it's a little too wide. It's like I could maybe trim the frame rails, but I don't want to do that. So I think the natural thing to do is just cut this tank down. I feel like pulling about yay much out of it, and it'll just give us tons of room. I don't know if I can do it in a way that I can slide that tank in. I'm not sure. It might be easier just to cut it and weld a flat flange to the side. Then we can still like make some simple straps for it to hold it in when it's all said and done. I'd like to have the tank up like very, very close to the floor, but we might only be able to get it up to the top of the frame rail. It'll still hang down, but not excessive. So unfortunately, I think we're cutting up a brand new tank just because. I don't even know. Your options are slim. We could have put a Mustang tank, but I really wanted to have the fuel pump in the tank with this. I don't know if my buddy would care that it actually is or not, but they're much quieter when they're in the tank instead of sitting on the frame rail just humming away. Because the guy could put a Mustang tank in, but they're not baffled right, and they just, with fuel injection, you'll get some surges and things like that. So I'd still probably be modifying and doing stuff. So at least this way, the fuel pump is on the pickup, it's in there, the return, everything's all done and in the tank. Makes it just simpler. So I guess just out of plain whatever, we'll throw this tank up on the bench and well, we'll just slice a chunk of it off. The idea is I want it to be about 27, or I want it to fit nicely between the rails without having to cut anything inside the frame rails. We'll probably have to take this brace out, but we'll just relocate it back a little more, or yeah, well, depending how the tank is, it might go back a little bit, so it shouldn't affect too much of anything. Might go back, might go forward. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this thing ends up fitting once I do my initial cut. Well, we're more than halfway, except I'm really good at dipping my tungsten in. Oops. I'm really good at dipping my tungsten into the dab. Every time you see me run away, I'm like resharpening the tip. Anyways, we got the top and the bottom done. I'm feeling pretty confident about my welds, but I didn't laser weld it because the gaps aren't great and it's pretty thin stuff, and I just know I'm gonna be fixing more problems than it's worth. So we're just about there. Anyways, I'll finish up the welding here really quick, and then well, we'll fill the hole on top. We gotta add a hole in the back, but I'll do that after. I might punch the hole, but we'll have to put a filler on there. All right, let's finish this up. All right, not a very scientific way or proper way, but we'll just pound some pressure in there. Don't need much. Want to hear the tank go boom. Oop, there it is. Did we do it? Well, I'll be. Shit. You know why it's doing that? I got a lot of air there. I realized that thing can't let any air out because the thing had a diaphragm on it. Hold on. There we go. I forgot the return line has a little bladder it can go in, but it can't suck fuel back. So we may have put a little too much pressure in here, but we know it doesn't leak, which is actually a first. So the pump, let's see if I get this out here. The pump actually has a little diaphragm, so I was putting air in on the return side, but it couldn't let air back out. So we probably tested her at 100 PSI or so. And no leaks, so that's a first for me. I think it's a first. Anyways, whatever, we know that's good. Now we can kind of go to the mock-up stage here and see how it fits. I'm hoping it actually goes up higher than I think, because then I could actually put the fuel filler off to the side. But if I have to, we're gonna go up that way through a hole in the bed floor. I'd rather come out the side somewhere, and then we can still go through the bed, but if the option's there, if we wanted to add a filler to the back of the truck or do something like that. Anyways, I took this one out. We're going to reuse it, but right now we got to do some modifying, pull that brace out, and then we'll see where this tank fits inside the whole realm of things. All right, let's see if this works. Survey says pump's pumping. Checking the fluid on the transmission. Super low. Cool. No leaks. Win. Fuel tank's in, it's plumbed. I still got to clean up the wiring, tie the lines. We'll have to put that floor in, cut a hole yet, and then we can put a cap or a top on it, get that figured out. But yeah, it runs nice. I sat there having to troubleshoot. The fuel pump wasn't working, and the wiring, to say the least, is not very good in here. It's not very tidy. It's a little bit of a disaster. Anyways, I had to trace back, try to figure out where the fuel pump wire was, because I think I knew what it was, but we had to trace it back and fix some stuff, we'll see. Anyways, it's working. So that's like good to go. I think in the big picture, this thing could use a whole new wiring harness. Would be not bad. It looks like it was reused out of the, I guess the Mustang or wherever that motor came out of. And it's kind of, it's not very nice, but yeah, I guess it works. All right, well, let's finish up those few things. And then the last thing to do is on the seat here, we're going to make some brackets, because right now the truck has some bucket seats in it, and he wants the bench seat in there instead. So We're going to pop these out. We're going to make some new brackets. And yeah, some brackets that aren't wood. I think there's a little bit of steel. Okay. The risers are made out of wood, and this is just a piece of channel. Whatever. We'll make something nice. Pop that seat in, and then we'll be good to go. I realized I didn't show the setup I did. Anyways, we got our top is on here. This is where we're going to do our filler. We did a simple 2-bar setup. I still got to put some straps in there, but everything's just kind of mocked up. We cleaned up the front. We have the hose and stuff tied down. I have 2 stock straps. I don't know if I can show it. Can I show it? I don't know if I can. You can kind of see the bolts up in the front there. They kind of burned through this, so I kind of didn't film a lot of this, but it's basically, I got some stock straps for the tank, and then I basically bolted it to that original cross member that the tank that used to sit across here. It's now up in the front here, and then it's actually also supporting the fuel tank straps, and then we have it mounted in the back here, like it just kind of loops around and up. So that's in. We put a couple quick connects on there. Everything just had high pressure hose, so we just kind of reused a lot of that. Well, we reused what we did. We added where we needed. We got the fuel delivery on this side, and then this side had the return. So that's why you see a filter over on this one side. Anyways, little quick jaunt with that. And then I forgot I have to do a fuel gauge. That, and then I forgot we have a speedometer and a fuel gauge yet to dump into there. So fuel gauge would be nice. Not much fuel. We have those. So we'll have to make a quick bracket. Again for this GPS, and then this thing too. I don't know if we'll, I guess all the gauges are actually hooked up in there, so I'll just leave it, but maybe we'll just cut a simple, or I have maybe even a simple little bracket we can stick under the dash for that. Not 100% sure. And then this one, I guess I'll just look up and see. I doubt I have a pattern for this. When I did my buddy's truck, I made a gauge insert that bolted into the original spot, so we'll kind of do the same dealio here. Hopefully I still have the pattern. If I don't, we'll just make one super quick. That way we can kind of stick it behind the dash, stick the gauge in, and do our business there. Right, buddy? No? Well, I got all the gauges in, although I am struggling with the fuel gauge. I believe I got the wrong one there. Up top we have, you know, our speedos up there. I think I have a bad ground here. I gotta check why that thing's coming on, but the signal does go. Signals are working. High beam is working, so I have to work on that one part.
So yeah, bent up a bracket. We made that other bracket you've seen, so it actually bolted into the original place, and then we were able to put this gauge into that spot. So that's done. Next on the slate is, next and I believe pretty close to last thing I got to do here is the seat. I'm pulling this out. We're going to make some brackets for the other one. Not too much left here. I have to go hunt around yet and see if I can find a filler cap. I could maybe steal it off the other tank. I'm not sure if the diameters are the same that I can reuse them, but anyways. Overall, that seemed to work out really well. Got the oil topped up on the trans, so that's going good back and forth. Pretty darn close. Almost there. Once we get the seat in, I'm thinking pretty close. I don't know. I think you want to try to adjust doors yet. They don't close very good. I think it's the door cards doing it. So I'm just going to adjust the latches and just get the doors, you know, not quite as tight. If you actually look down here, you can see that these are pretty aggressive. Oh, maybe you can't see here. These are pretty aggressively sandwiching against the bottom. So I think it's just too darn tight because these doors got new latches and hardware in it, but they just don't quite want to latch. So I think it's just a little too tight in. We're going to bring these out a little bit, and then that should fix that up, I think. We'll see. Everything's a trial and error till we get her sorted out. Well, that worked out all right. So it ended up 3 inches is what we needed. I don't really need to make a fancy bracket. We got, the seat's gonna sit on here, so we'll probably just set it up. The seat's gonna sit on this tower, and then I can reuse the existing holes through the pipe, or through the tube, down to the floor. So that should work like fine, super awesome. Anyways, I'm gonna go blow a bunch of holes in everywhere here, and then we can down into the floor. And I think, other than waiting for a different fuel gauge to come in, all right, I gotta go get that part, but we're pretty close. We're almost there. Can move on back to working on that thing. That's fine. I needed a little break, take a couple days to do this. That one was getting on my nerves a little bit. Well, no. But if you work too long on any particular project, you're gonna get burned out. That's kind of how it goes, but. Okay, let's start blowing some holes in some stuff and bolting that seat in. I think we got everything all done on here. I think. There may be another list of things I don't know yet, but for now, I think we're good. So, seat is in. That's all good to go. I'm still waiting on that fuel gauge, but
yeah, we did our little risers. That was good. You kind of seen me do my filler for the fuel. I didn't get it down as flush as I wanted. I wanted it to at least be flush with the floor. I think if it goes with a different style of top, it might be okay. Holy, so many buttons on here. Let's see if I can. So here you can kind of see. Let me get a light. Where is my light? So you can kind of see it's a little higher than I wanted. I tried to make that as short as I can, but there wasn't much I could do. So probably something aftermarket can kind of make that flush, probably from a boat or something like that, I guess. Anyways, that's done. The only thing left to do is take it for a burn, but our weather's just crap, raining, stuff outside. So I think that part is going to hold off for another day. So we'll have to hold tight and wait for it to dry up a bit. I want to take it for a boot just to see if the transmission, everything's all good, and then we can check the levels on everything again, and then cinder down the road. I don't know. It's a pretty cool little truck. Oh, I did the hinges. I don't know if I showed that. The door latches. What I ended up doing was somebody had started shaving them, and there's just too much meat. So what a feller could do is slot the holes in there, or just shave the back of this mount off, or the latch, the striker plate. There we go. That's the right word. Anyways, we shaved that down a bit, so now it's still a slammer, but at least it stays good. The other side was good, but we actually had to shim it out a bit because only a little bit of the door latch was hitting, so you'd hit a bump and the door could probably pop open. So we'll deal with that, and then. I think she should be a good little driver then. All right, well, we'll have to wait on that one. I've been daddling with this for now, playing with the kid got this little Denali, and I'm debating maybe doing a square body or a 60s pickup might be pretty cool on this chassis. I'm thinking doing an all-wheel drive, something. Hey, I think it'd be neat. Make a cool little slam down all-wheel drive pickup. I don't know. Not really into that stuff, but hey, might be worth a shot. Something different. Maybe I can cruise with some major luxury one winter in a square body, or what's the other one? 60, like a 67, 68 pickup maybe. I don't know. All right, we're gonna wait for this thing to get done, and then we're gonna take her for a burn. Ready to go for a burn? What's your thing, eh? folks, I think that is where we are going to leave this one. We're cruising along. Everything seems to be working fine. Pablo gets his ride. We're going to go to town, get some treats. Okay, get a little ice cream or something. And I think that's what we're going to call this one. So, as always, folks, I want to thank you all for watching. And we will catch you on the next one. Later.